Alright, so I knew this bike was fast, but I didn't think it was this fast. Like really fast. And yes, it's the KTM Duke 790. Okay, so since this bike is really quick, I'll make this video even quicker. I think this is the best looking KTM bike. It's the least orangey and I think it's the most striking. But the one thing that I like about this bike is this gorgeous muffler. And yes, it's a stock exhaust. It's a love and hate relationship. Most riders that I asked hated the sound of this muffler, but personally, it reminds me of a car's turbo. It makes this pleasing sound of cracks and pops whenever you're revving the engine. But aside from the noise, I really like the shape and finish of this muffler. It has this satin polished metal finish to it, and as you can see, it complements all the plastic parts nicely. So you have this shape paired with this shape, and then this shape. And if you look at it from afar, the design is still distinctly KTM, but it has its own unique flair to it. And that's why this is my favorite KTM bike in their lineup. Looking up close, we have very minimal orange here, at least on KTM standard. We don't have the orange mags, you don't have the orange trellis frame. We only have this orange gas tank cover, front fender, and then some decals on the side. This panel in particular has this steel mesh here that I'm really digging the details. And overall, everything just flows naturally. You have your muffler tip pointing up, this one pointing up as well, and then the front fenders pointing down along with the headlights. It's a very well designed bike, and for 599,000 pesos, you're getting a lot of technology and fun out of this bike. Up front, we have a full LED display that looks exactly like other KTM models. We have LED turn signals. We have a slightly smaller TFT display. We have WP Apex front suspension. Doesn't look adjustable, which is okay because this is already comfortable as it is. It's not really meant for long rides. It's more of a track and weekend bike, so I can live with that. And going down here, we have KTM's very own brake system. At first, I was surprised that they didn't put Brembos on this bike, and you'd think a track bike would require like those from Brembos, but based on my 5 days riding experience, this brake set handled this bike perfectly. So obviously, we have dual disc brakes up front and a single disc brake at the rear, also powered by KTM. As for the tires, we have Maxxis rubbers. I was hoping for at least Pirelli rubbers for a bike this fast, but these Maxxis tires handled it better than I expected. Moving on to the other side, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but this bike has a shorter than normal clutch lever pedal. And if you compare it with other bikes, this is way shorter than most bikes because this bike was designed for the track. So tendency is that it would lean more towards the ground. So they had to compromise and cut it short so it doesn't scrape the track. Also, same thing goes with its side stand. It doesn't have those typical hooks that come out of the main stand. So nothing gets in the way whenever you're riding on track days. So this little details really shows that this bike was built for the track. But yeah, I think you guys know where I'm going. It's built fast. It's meant to be ridden fast. So you'd think that this bike is very uncomfortable and it's hard to daily. And that's where I got it wrong. Because aside from the looks and the pipe, there's one more thing that I really like about this bike. And it's these very comfortable and wide seats. For a sports bike, this seat is extremely wide. Even the pillion seat is wide. In fact, this rear seat feels wider than most bikes that I've tried, and my pillion never really complained about this. I think this is her favorite seat out of all the bikes that I've viewed. And for me, this is the close second, after maybe the Triumph Tiger 900. And that says a lot because this is a sports bike and that's an adventure bike. So yeah, very nice seat, very comfortable riding position for a naked sports bike. And it looks really awesome. Also, another way I can tell that this bike is fast is that it has a steering damper here in between the tank and the headlight. So any sudden small movements or maybe even quick rattles that would unbalance the rider and the bike, this damper will take care of. So that's a must for high-end sports bikes, and this KTM has it. Engine-wise, this is a 790cc parallel twin. So like most KTM bikes, they only go up to twin cylinders. And I think it's partially because 2 cylinders makes the bike light. It doesn't sound as good as the 4 cylinders, but it gives you more torque and low-end power compared to 4 cylinders. Fun fact guys, this same engine is shared across other KTM models like their adventure bikes, and it suits this bike's needs perfectly. And for my needs, I'm really more of a torque guy, so I'd take low-end power over top speed any day. That's maybe one of the reasons why I like this bike so much. Aside from the looks, the lightweight that this bike has paired with its incredible acceleration makes this bike a really good package. You have your standard switches. There's the high beam toggle switches here. The controls for the TFT display. We have the signals left and right, the horn. We also have the kill switch here. And surprisingly, we don't have a hazard switch. Now let's check out all the features and technology that this bike has. So right now we're at street mode, but you have other options such as sports, rain, and track. Let's try switching it to track. And then you can further customize it with throttle response. And as you can see, there's sports, street, and then track again. So for maximum fun, they suggest switching it all to track. And then going back again, we have anti-wheelie mode. And you know a bike is fast when it has anti-wheelie mode. And I can't stress this enough, this bike is quick, like really quick. Because whenever I squeeze the throttle, it feels like this bike wants to do a wheelie every single time. It doesn't matter if I'm prepared, it doesn't even matter if I'm expecting the throttle response. The bike just pushes me back every time I accelerate, especially if you put everything on track mode. And as you can see here, there's even a dedicated launch control button, which I've never really tried. I suggest you guys try this on the track. And then finally, we have all the basic functions like traction control, ABS switches, ABS modes, and a quick shifter function that you can turn on and off. It even has shift light indicators, and like other KTM models, this TFT display switches from day to dark mode, and that's a standard for all KTM models. So yeah, they really thought of everything about this bike. Personally, I think it's the best looking naked sports bike out there. I'm such a big fan of the design and the color combination in this one. It's not too orangey like most KTMs, hence this is why my favorite KTM bike. So yeah, KTM has proved it again that you don't really need an inline 4 to make a bike run fast. And this is their answer to it. It's a 2-cylinder bike, very lightweight and a very thin profile. Although it doesn't sound as good as most 4-cylinders, but then again, I never really max out a bike's top speed. So I take torque over top speed any day, and this is the perfect bike for it. It doesn't matter if you're prepared whenever you're twisting the throttle, the bike will almost always push you back. A really fun bike, a quick bike. Pretty sure I've told you guys that already, but there's really nothing negative to say about this bike. So yeah, I think that's it. If you want to see more upcoming bikes, definitely give me a follow and like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.